Okay, so here in 7.2, we're going to do a little bit more practice with some of our simplifying radicals with the multiplication, and then the main thing we're going to look at is division. So let's practice a little bit with these multiplying radicals and just simplifying. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply here, and I'll have 8x to the third, 1 plus 2 is 3, y to the ninth. And then I'm going to simplify, and I forgot my cubed root right here. Now, cubed root of 8, 8's 4 times 2, and split that 4 into 2 more 2's. So I've got a group of 3, so I can pull out a 2. X to the first, 3 goes into 3 one time. I've got 3 x's, so I've got one group. And 3 goes into 9 3 times. Now I'm not going to write it out, but if I were to write out 9 y's, I would have 3 groups of 3. Now, same as yesterday, we're going to assume all our variables are positive, so you don't have to worry about absolute value. Okay, let's do one more. So cubed root of 216. Now I'm going to split up my 216, sorry, and I can't get my calculator open, so let me click on that. So I think 6 goes into 216, I'm not for sure. Yes, 6 goes into 216 36 times. Okay, now that's good because I can split 36 into 2 more 6's. So there's a group of 3 6's. 3 goes into 4 one time with 1 left over. And 3 goes into 3 one time with nothing left over, so no y's. So I have 6xy cubed root of x. Okay, so let's look at a little bit of division then. Now, with division, same as multiplication, you have two choices in order. You could go ahead and divide. Now here, I can't divide. Or you could take the square root first. So 6 over 5. Okay, I'm pretty much done. Now your other option is to divide first. So I would have cubed root of -8, and then I could split it up. So see how I went ahead and divided? Your choice, pick the one that's easier. So here, I could split 8 into 3 2's. To get a -8, I need them to all be negative. So -2. Now, same kind of thing here. I could divide and have square root, this time it's square root, of 9. 243 divided by 27 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Now I want you to remember, you can divide first or you can simplify first. Pick the one that's going to be easier to do. Okay, so looking at this first one, I think I'm going to try to divide first. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. And x to the fourth divided by x to the first is x to the third, 4 minus 1. Now this is square root, so I'm looking for groups of 2 of a kind. So I'll have 2, square root of 4 is 2. Now with the x to the third, 2 goes into 3 one time with 1 left over. So the leftover goes inside. Now, same thing here. 3 goes into 162. I checked it, it does. So I'm going to try to divide first. So I'll have cubed root, 162 divided by 3 is 54, x to the third. And then I'll simplify this thing down. I know 2 goes into 54, and it's 2 times 27. 27 is a good number to remember, is 3 times 3 times 3. You'll see it a lot. So a group of 3, 3, so I can pull out a group of 3. I've got to leave this 2 inside. And then 3 goes into 3 one time with nothing left over. So 3x cubed root of 2. Okay, now I want us to think about what happens if you can't divide. Like looking at this, 3 doesn't go into 2. Here, I'm not looking necessarily at the x's, but the numbers, 5 doesn't go into 1. Now, if you can't divide, you still need to do something called rationalizing the denominator. Now, I'm not sure who exactly decided this, but it's not considered simplified if you've got a square root in the denominator. So you need to go through and take care of that. So I'm going to go through here and multiply by my square root of 3. Now here's the reason I'm doing that. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9, which is 3. See how I got rid of my square root? In the top, I'll have square root of 6. And then simplify if you can simplify. So I want you to see how you want to multiply by something that will get rid of your square root in the denominator. It's okay to have one in the numerator, but we don't want one in the denominator. Okay, now I have sort of the same problem here. So I'm going to multiply by square root of 5xy. So in the bottom, I'll have 5xy. You see how the two of them get rid of the square roots. In the top, I have 5 square root of, because I'm going to have to simplify this, 5x to the 4th, 3 plus 1, and then that 1y. And then I'm going to simplify this down because I can take the square root of x to the 4th. So I'll have x squared, there's 2, goes into 4, 2 times, square root of 5y over 5xy. Now I think I can do a little bit better than this because right here I can simplify with my x's, which will give me 2 minus 1 is 1. Now I can't simplify the 5's here or the y's because these are in square roots and these are not. So this is as good as it's going to get. Okay, so let's do one more of these. And let's do the second one over here. Now the reason I'm picking this one is because it's got a cubed root. So looking at this, if I just multiply by one of those, that's not enough to get rid of it because I need 3 of the same thing to get rid of a cubed root. So I'm going to have to multiply by a third one, or a second one, so I have 3 total. So on the bottom then I would have 6x. On the top I have 6 times 6 is 36 times 4 is 144. And I've got 1, 2 x's. Now I can't really do anything with my x squared because I need at least 3 of a kind and I don't have 3 of a kind. But I'm pretty sure I can simplify my 144. I'm going to do it over here on the side of my paper. So 144 I know is 12 times 12. And then I'll simplify down from there. And the 4's are each 2's. And I'm getting my 3's lost in the mix. So I think I'm going to just bring those down. So I've got one group of 2's that I can pull out, a group of 3 2's. But I've got to leave 3 times 2 times 3 left, which means I'm going to have 6 times 3 is 18. And I can't do anything with the x squared. Now this is good though, because that'll allow me to reduce right there with the 2 and the 6. So I'll have cubed root of 18x squared over, that reduces to 1/3, so 3x. Okay, now these are problems you're going to want to make sure to practice on. So make sure that you're practicing these because until you do, you don't really know where you're going to run into problems. So make sure that you're practicing.